story that we're featuring on In the Know today is the tropical activity in Australia. Tropical Cyclone Alfred has weakened into a tropical storm, but still plenty of weather events associated with this. Officials still warning of wind and severe flooding. You can see just how strong those wind gusts were in Brisbane. And that's not all. The flooding has been quite intense. We've lost power to 250,000 of homes and businesses. In fact, see that power line there? That power line is still live. Authorities are urging people to stay indoors as much as you can to avoid any effects from this. Now we're going to go through all of these meteorological details, where the storm's headed and what we could see for our 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. We have a little preview on that. Here with more information is Laura Power. Now, Laura, let's first talk about this cyclone. Originally a Category 1, but now it has been downgraded. 2. Originally a Category 2, since been downgraded. What is the track right now?
Yeah, well, just first a look at this beautiful satellite image from the 7th of the cyclone making landfall. Take a look at this, though. It spent 18 days in the Coral Sea, just meandering, slowly moving southward and eventually taking a turn into the Queensland/New South Wales coastline, where we haven't seen an impact like this in many, many years. Now, it did make landfall as a Category 1 on some islands just off the mainland. Wind speeds 63 kilometers an hour and higher. But this is the first landfall in this region since Cyclone Zoe in 1974. That's a long time. But again, it made landfall as a Category 1 cyclone, 7 a.m. Australian time in Moreton Island, Australia. But it has since moved further westward, and it's about to make landfall, or has already made landfall, in Brisbane. Here's a look at Byron Bay. Extensive flooding throughout the region, and officials, as Victoria mentioned, it's set to continue. This threat of flooding is very dangerous, as well as the power outages, but it has been downgraded.
And it's good to note, even though it has been downgraded, you can still feel the effects from this because of all that flooding. That's certainly going to keep people indoors for a longer period of time. There were evacuation orders and a state of emergency declared. You can see that hardest hit area in that Brisbane Gold Coast area. Oh, yes, Laura. Yeah. Tropical activity. It's very interesting. Not rare specifically for this time of year, tropical activity, but rare for us at home. We are monitoring our Atlantic hurricane season. We're not quite there yet, but let's take a little sneak peek at some of the names and perhaps some of the tropical activity we've already experienced in 2024.
Absolutely. Well, good news for Australia is their season should be wrapping up fairly soon, but ours will be in a couple months. Here's a look back at our 2024 season. Helene, Milton, very memorable storms that caused extensive damage. Some never made landfall. But here's a look at our list headed into 2025. From Andrea to Wendy.
It's funny, I always look for my name on this list. It's not there. It looks like V is Van for next season. Some of these names, though, good to note that they can be reused, and they switch up the names every year, right?
They sure do. They sure do. We do see some repeats, however, and some names do get put away because of the storms being so powerful. Now, of note is that we are sitting in a little bit of a neutral Enzo cycle. So we're coming out of La Nina, potentially headed towards an El Nino, but it's likely that we will remain somewhat in a neutral season for Enzo. And as we head forward, about 14 named storms is average.
Well, we're still early in the season and we have plenty more left to come. Well, now you are in the know.